Hello. I put links in Discord a minute ago, so hopefully you all didn't think that I wasn't coming, because I am, and here I am. We're here to do this ombre right here. This new Essie polish called Cacti on the Prize is the light color that I have been looking for to complete the set of 5. So 1 color for each nail. This is not going to be super complicated. It's just going to be this color on my thumb, this color on my index nail, this color on my middle finger, this color on my ring finger, and this color on my pinky. On both hands. They're going to match. So this is Essie Cacti on the Prize. This is OPI. This isn't Greenland. This is Zoya Arbor. This is Cirque Wall Street. And this is Poparazzi Salute the Troops. And all of these polishes, despite my plethora of olive greens, are actually currently available if anybody's interested in possibly duplicating this and they don't already have some of the colors. I was going to do the colors that blended together the best no matter what, and they all happened to be still accessible, so lucky you. Let me make sure I've got my stuff in the right place here in case I need it. Alright, perfect. Let's get started. I already put on base coat. I was waiting for James to finish what he was doing with his computer that was a little bit loud, and we're ready to start applying color. So let's get to it. We're going to be doing one hand first, which means we're switching colors, because it will be faster going from like this thumb to this thumb and then back to this thumb with one color, which means that the first coat on the thumb that I did first would probably not be dry by the time I came back to it after only doing one other nail. So we're going to do 5 and just switch colors. This is a very neutral sort of a green. It's creamy, and the brush on the new Essies is just lovely. I know I was talking about that last stream, but it's still true. Pretty opaque on that first coat. That's good. Let me just get rid of some of this on the skin here. Okay. So the second color is OPI. This isn't Greenland. I shook these up about 20 minutes ago or so. Actually, more like an hour ago. So they've had plenty of time to settle. This one is a favorite of mine. It's similar to Zoya Ireland, but it has slightly more saturation to it. Ireland is just a tiny touch more gray. But you can see that it's lighter than the next one over, as the idea of an ombre goes. And same thing, we're just going to make sure that we're getting rid of any excess polish that we need to and getting the bottle out of the way so we don't bang into it. This is Zoya Arbor. It looks greener in the bottle, like more yellowy green in the bottle, obviously, than it does on the swatch stick. You can see the comparison there. That's why I have swatch sticks, because it's more accurate of a color delineation for future reference than just looking at the bottle. Okay. All of these polishes are relatively opaque. Arbor, if you're like being careful, you can get opaque in 1 coat. I am just going to do 2 coats of it today because everything else is getting 2 coats, and then I feel balanced. like across all of my nails. Nobody's thicker than anybody else. That's pretty solid though. Having that second coat gives you some more stability and structure though for your nails. This will darken slightly on the second coat too, because it's a little bit patchy. Okay, this is Cirque Wall Street. I've been using this for a lot of floral things, like the leaves when I do floral nail art. I've been liking this polish. One of my other favorites, Cirque has a ton of really good greens actually that I kind of rely on when I'm looking for green variety. There's when we were in our watercolor class at the end of high school, my sister and I took a watercolor class at the local community college, and for a couple of semesters, and the gal who ran the class had this thing about like varying the undertones of your greens in your paintings when you're painting foliage in landscapes and stuff, because not every plant has the same undertones. So I've, like paint this painting and have at least 5 different types of undershades of tones of green, right? So I've kind of carried that into some of my like floral nail art stuff. Try to have more than just one tone of green in the foliage. Not for every design, obviously, but like if there's only one type of flower, then obviously all the plants are going to have the same leaves. This is a Poparazzi polish. And it has the patchy's the wrong word. It has the sheerest of the formulas that we're using today, but it is going to be opaque in 2 coats as well. It has a tiny little bit of a different smell in the base than some of my other polish. You can see there it goes from light to dark. But of course, the second coat will make things a little bit more smooth. Let's go on to our second hand over here. You can tell that I like this type of green. My little acetone pot is that color of green. My mug is in that color of green. It's just my favorite. All right. Cacti on the prize. There are people whose job it is to come up with nail polish names and like try to be as derpy as possible with it for some companies, and I think that's pretty great. Essie actually at one point did, I think it was Essie, did a commercial series about it. Was like, I think it was actors who were pretending to be people at Essie who were coming up with names. It was a cute premise though, you got to reference a bunch of their sillier ones. Targeted advertising. It was like in front of a YouTube video. And they were like, you like nail polish. We can tell that you like nail polish. So we're going to give you an ad about nail polish, even though you were already up on everything Essie. And I was like, okay. All right. There's a hair stuck right there. That's going to annoy me. That's the tough thing about cats. Or I guess dogs too. They shed. And sometimes the fuzzies on my nail are cotton ball fuzzies, but sometimes they're cat fur that floated in and landed at an inopportune time. Inopportune for me anyway. I don't know what the hair is trying to do. Okay, so you can see we banged into our sidewall there. As you do when painting with your non-dominant hand sometimes. That's why I've got this little, it's an old file. I've shown it before. I just use it to go around the edge before things dry, help clean up things. A lot of people use an orange wood stick for that, but I like the file because you can just clean it off with acetone and use it again with less. I don't know, the orange stick is a little bit annoying to clean. In my personal preference. Okay. Like I said, that is pretty much opaque in one coat, but we're going to do two just to be consistent across all of the nails. I didn't hit the sidewall too bad that time. It's this sidewall that I always hit when I'm painting with my left hand on my right hand. I don't hit this side. I think it's just because that side is further away from me, so it's harder to see in the natural orientation of my hand. Cirque does not have a wide flat brush, but I don't mind their brush. The flexibility of the bristles is the right amount, and the viscosity of their polish is such that when you are placing it on the nail, it guides with the brush very smoothly and doesn't try to like escape from the brush. So you're able to manipulate it pretty handily. Excuse the wordplay there. Okay, and then we need the darkest color on this side, which is, what did I say? Salute the Troops. There we go. From Poparazzi. And as I said on the first hand, this is the patchiest. There's a hair, so I'm just going to wipe it off right there. That's the beauty of having a silicone mat that you can just clean off when you're done. You can use it to get rid of little doobers on your brush. Okay. This will be opaque on the second coat, though. Pretty sure. Let me make sure that I got... No, I need to get slightly closer to the cuticle there. Otherwise, I'm going to have a squarer shape at the base of this nail than I really prefer. Ooh. Trying not to stroke into the other part of the nail too much because it's starting to dry. That's better. The reason I'm doing that for sure on this first coat is because of the patchiness. If I were to just fill in that missing little curve on the second coat, it would not be completely opaque there and it wouldn't match the rest of the nail. Okay, let's check this. Yep, that's dry enough for a second coat. So, Cacti on the prize again from Essie. Let's bring the camera back this way. My microphone update on that situation. It did the thing that Amazon does where it says, we think that your package may be lost. You can return, like, request a refund or a replacement. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And then when I tried to request a refund or a replacement, they emailed me and said, we can't complete that action with our normal workflow. You need to contact our customer service department. So I did. And the guy refunded me, and then I had to reorder the cameras. Or, pardon me, reorder the mic. So, it's coming, but it's actually not in stock until, like the end of the first week of February or a little bit after that. So it's going to be a little bit longer to get here. Which is probably why they didn't have the ability to do whatever in the regular workflow, quote unquote. But there's a hair there. I'm just trying to make sure it's nice and smooth in that corner. It is coming. It is coming. It's just not here yet. Okay, so let's put that back to the side and get OPI. This isn't Greenland. Nice and smooth. Turning the nail so I can see what I'm doing on that far side. There we go. There's a tiny little place right there. Sorry, I needed to bring it a little closer to myself so I could see around my cuticle. There, that's fine. And there's a little bit of a little wet blob there, but it'll smooth out with top coat and after this coat dries. Okay. Zoya Arbor. There's a Julie G polish called Eden that is almost exactly a dupe for this. But it is no longer made, and Arbor is. And Arbor is very slightly less saturated than that one. Just a tiny, 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 tiny amount. So it fits in this manicure slightly better. The other one would probably have been fine too, but since I had the other one, I was able to pick and compare. Okay, Cirque Wall Street. Yeah, good formula. Of all of the olive and moss and army kinds of greens that I have, this little ombre deal is more yellow toned than some of the others that I have. I have some that are more central or, you know, that have more blue in them, and some that are leaning even more blue than central. Obviously, they still have predominating dustiness, and they do still qualify as an olive green. So it's not like they don't have any yellow in them. But comparatively, you know, Wall Street gets darker as it dries. I'm sure you can see here on the swatch stick there, that's darker than the color right now by a little bit. So by the time that's dry, it should be fine. I'm gonna add a tiny little bit of this isn't Greenland right there, just to make sure that we're gonna smooth out nicely. That looks pretty good. This color was the hardest to find. I have a ton of things that are similar but don't have enough yellow in them, that are too blue, that lean like too minty. Okay. That last one was Poparazzi Salute the Troops. Trying to be consistent in listing the colors for anybody who comes in partway through. And to like do them all in one section, so that if you start listening for like, ooh, she's listing shades, I wonder if she's going to get to the third shade. I was wondering about the third shade. And then I don't actually say that one. Like, that's the most infuriating thing when other people do it, so I'm trying not to do that. We're gonna have to definitely get a little bit up on that skin with the cleanup brush after I'm done. Okay. Oops, let's bring that over. I'm sorry. It would be nice if you could actually see the nail, right? Oh, that's my cat. She's being a yeller. What are you yelling about, baby cat? Oh, she's looking up at James, who is in the corner standing next to his chair, but not sitting on the chair, and she wants him to sit on the chair and pet her. Oh, she's being demanding. You're here. Why aren't you doing what I want? But he's checking out his new build and making sure everything's the way he wants it to be for his computer. Okay. Good, good, good. Yep, yep. Let's put that over here. It hailed again today. And I don't know when this storm is supposed to be gone, because I was hearing it'll be here all week, but I don't know when that ends, you know, because it started last weekend. Obviously, we need to go around that because I hit the skin in several places. Easy peasy. Quickly smoothed the edge and got rid of all that excess. There's some that will need to be removed with the cleanup brush with the acetone, of course. But it's better than having all of it to clean up with the acetone because it's not going to be dried in there. There we go, looking good. Wall Street, I gotta curve that curve a little bit curvier. There was a shadow, I think, on the first pass that I didn't see. That I missed that one little spot. And that is one of the reasons why we do more than one coat of polish. I didn't hit that sidewall. That is the second manicure in a row that I have not hit that sidewall. That is good. That's the sidewall I hit the most often. So, improvement. Even after several years of painting my nails, I think 4.5 years or something at this point, there's still room for improvement. There's some people who've been painting their nails for like their entire life and they can't remember when they never painted their nails. And so they have loads of practice. But that's not me. There is a something right there. I think I'm going to have to go over it with the color because it looks like a little white dot. And I don't want it to show up after I put top coat on. Okay, that's fine. And then the last color, Salute the Troops. And just like I said, it's opaque in 2 coats, even though that first coat was a little bit more sheer. me just doubly, triply make sure that everything's looking good. That looks good to me. So now we're gonna go in with top coat after I get rid of that little bit of something. Okay, top coat, but we're gonna close our other polishes to make sure we don't knock them over. And we're gonna be doing Peach Beach. From Vibrant Vinyls Fast and Hard. Okay. Come on back this way. I don't try to avoid the skin with the top coat. I'd rather hit the skin and cover all the polish. And then remove the top coat later. And by later, I mean like right as soon as I'm done applying it, not like later. I just want to make sure everything's encapsulated. Because it helps to prevent lifting and chipping. There's a little bubble there. This top coat self-levels really well. So even if there is a little bubble there, when the polish is wet, when the top coat is wet, I don't care. If I pop it, it'll level out. No worries. Okay. Oops, sorry, that was a little bit too far to the right. And then this is going to be second nail. Now I'm floating the brush across the nail because there is nothing worse than having a cream polish with smears through the top coat. It's just so visible and ugly to me, especially on my own hands that are close to me and I can see all of those little things. Smearing is no thanks. Oh, nope, I can go around that side one more time. It's kind of reconnecting. Because there was a little bit extra that scooged down in there. Get out of there. Okay. Something there. I think it's a bubble. Yeah, it's a bubble. Just stroke the bubble out, trying still to have a very light touch so that it's not touching the polish underneath, but that it's popping that bubble. Okay, good. I was listening to 80s music right before stream, and like while I was finishing my work notes and stuff earlier this evening, and I have the little riff from Jump stuck in my head. The dun 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 dun. Oh my goodness, no, that's You Can Call Me Al. Wow, I'm dumb. My brain. Jensen Ackles and his wife did a do of the You Can Call Me Al music video, actually, apparently. And he mimics all of the little dance moves, like, exactly. It's kind of funny. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Good. Very nice. A little bit of lint on there. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to stick. That nail is starting to dry, but is not dry yet. Like, I can brush across it with something really smooth without ruining it, but I don't want to touch it with my dry fingers, so I licked it. And that fixed it. Colette would be squicked out by that, but that's okay. I don't think she's here, and if she is, she's lurking. So she doesn't get a say. Okay. Make sure that there aren't any bubbles there at the connection between the proximal nail fold and the nail plate. Okay. There we go. Do you see what I mean about this nail having smoothed out beautifully? No worries there. The whole hand, right? You get the light to dark. Okay. Let's make sure there aren't any bubbles on my brush. And we're going in for top coat. Let's make sure it's ready. Yes, okay. No lint. Okay. Beautiful. Bubbles in your top coat are a lot of times due to the way you're dunking your brush back into the polish. And they can settle out of the bottle when you let it rest. So let's make sure you can see all this. Having a thinner formula of top coat makes it easier to avoid bubbles. If you are an enthusiastic dunker. This Vibrant Vinyl's top coat is relatively thin compared to like Seche Vite, for example, which I don't use because I get shrinkage with it, even though there are many people who use it who don't get shrinkage with it. I think it's an individual body chemistry kind of a situation there. Or even the Glisten and Glow top coat, which I also really love. That's thicker and it's really good for smoothing out polish that has glitters and things like Crellies that I love without having to do as many coats. You just have to be more careful when you're dunking your brush. I replace the brush in my base coat and in my Glisten and Glow top coats with the clear paddle brush that Anchor and Heart sells. And so it's easier to see if there are bubbles on your brush because you can literally see straight through. But the Vibrant Vinyls brush is a pretty good shape on its own, so I don't feel like I need to necessarily replace the brush, but it is then a black brush, which, you know, there can be bubbles on the backside. Do you see how all the bubbles already settled out just while I was cleaning that nail? You just have to be mindful of it while you're applying. And if you see a bubble go onto the nail, you have to think about like stroking over it lightly while the polish is still wet to get rid of it. If you're just slapping polish on your hand willy-nilly, then yeah, probably some of those bubbles are going to stay. But if you're being conscientious, they won't. There we go. Now, I'm not going to do my top coat cleanup on stream because I'm not going to do any top coat cleanup tonight. I'm going to wait until tomorrow because I'm not going anywhere and I can let like a lot of it come off naturally. Like when I wash my hands and stuff, some of it'll come off of the skin, all this clear top coat that's there. And then after that's happened, I'll go in and get the rest with a little cleanup brush. But it'll save me some effort to not do all of it. Okay. You can also kind of swirl the brush through the top coat to find less. Like just now, I basically like threw the bottle brush back into the bottle and created some bubbles, which was stupid of me, right? So I just had to swirl the brush to find a spot where there weren't any bubbles when I was pulling it out again. Okay, all encapsulated, no bubbles, that's good. Shiny, shiny. I am going to wear this manicure glossy. I ended up putting a matte top coat on the star and moon design that I did last because I got my thinner and I thinned out that matte top coat. But I wanted these greens because it became a possibility, and I have been wanting to do this little ombre design basically since I've started doing nail polish, so like 4.5 years or whatever, and I've never had the right undertones of the greens in this little color family to make it blend smoothly. So cheers to that. Finally doing things that we like hope and have mentally imagined artistically, right? There's something very satisfying about finally doing it, right? Okay. Pop that little bubble over there. Very good. All the way around. Okay. Make sure we're... There we go. Getting all the way to the front on that side. And then over here. Very good, very good. One more nail to top coat. if I'm not doing a cream polish, I'm actually much less globular with my top coat. There's something about a cream that really shows top coat application. Because there's nothing else going on the nail. So if there's a disruption in that smooth, creamy surface, like if you didn't quite get up to the edge of the color with the top coat, you can see it. And if you, all right, that looks good. If you have like a crelly or something and you do that, you're not going to notice it as much because there's other things going on in the polish. And there we go. That is my shortest stream ever. 41 minutes-ish. So, beautiful. Lovely. I am going to, look at that. My my left hand can do that pose a lot better than my right hand because my pinky always wants to like stick out way a lot and I have to like help it out. There we go. Anyway, I don't know if anybody else is on. I don't think that they are. Let's check that out really quick. Just Bob Ross. That's okay. I'm gonna let Twitch do its thing then. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. This is a fun thing. I'm enjoying it already. I'm going to enjoy it for the rest of the week probably. So have a good night. Bye.